Well, welcome back. We're going to be talking about some more on sampling errors and how simple random samples can produce some bias, consumer bias. So, without further ado, let's get an understanding here. Um, each of the following is a possible source of bias in a sample survey. Name the type of bias that would result in each. So, a sample is chosen at random from a telephone directory. Okay, so that would be under coverage. And we talked about this before. Ridge, all right. It's under coverage because we're missing out on all those that have cell phones. So if we're trying to do just a telephone directory and we're trying to find the city population, well, this population would only be from the telephone directory and not of the entire population of a city or whatnot. So that'd be definitely under coverage. Some people cannot be contacted in 5 calls. That would be non-response bias, okay? Because they cannot be contacted. So they have not responded. So that would be a non-response bias because we can't get their information. Interviews choose people walking on the sidewalk to interview. Well, right here, just interviews choose people walking by on a sidewalk. Um, that would be convenience sampling. Okay, and that is never good. And so all these two, you can still do a random sample telephone directory. Some people cannot be contacted, so assuming this is still a simple random sample, there's still some response bias that's involved here. And this is convenience sampling because you're just choosing people that are being interviewed walking along the sidewalk. Looking at this one, it says a survey paid for by markers of disposable diaper makers of disposable diapers found that 84% of the sample opposed banning disposable diapers. Okay, and here's what they asked. Here's an actual question. It is estimated that disposable diapers account for less than 2% of the trash in today's landfills. In contrast, beverage containers, third-class mail, and yard waste are estimated to account for 21% of the trash in landfills. Given this, in your opinion, would it be fair to ban disposable diapers? Well, obviously, this is looking at a response bias here because definitely the wording in this, okay, the wording in this is making it sound like the trash from diapers isn't that important, okay? So this is wording bias, which will lead to a response bias from those in there. And so do you think the estimate of is less than? Well, it probably is greater than because they're trying to get more people to be okay with opposing banning diapers. And so why is that? Because it is wording bias that is leading people to respond favorably, right, to the question. Okay, and so favorably question, and then favorably to the question would be no. All right, no, and that's what we're looking there from there. I hope that makes sense. Let's try some other ones. So let's say if you're in high school, which you maybe are because that's why you're listening to this video, a principal of a large high school wants to learn about student opinion regarding a remote learning versus in-person learning. Oh wow, this is like a COVID question. Each of the following methods introduces a possible source of bias. Name the types of bias you have. The principal selects random samples, okay, this is a random sample, of students from those who signed up for remote learning. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, if he's trying to, principal of a large, wants to get a student opinion, all right? So if he's looking for student opinion, and the population of the students is all the students in the high school. So if the population is all students in the high school, and right here he just chooses those of remote learning, um, this is definitely going to have some um, response bias, okay, um, and that is going to be under coverage. All right, under coverage and probably some response bias in this. Okay. Um, because since they already came in with some remote learning, all right, they're probably going to think favorably to the response, right? And also under coverage because he's not asking anybody that's not signed up for remote learning, all right? Under coverage, not surveying or sampling those not in remote learning. Okay. Well, the principal then decides to email a random sample of 100 students. Okay, email, not good. All right, but only 20%. Well, this is definitely non-response bias because you only got 28 of the 100, so only 20%. So now, and then he's probably going to have an undercoverage, okay, or it may have skewed a skewed response of increased or decreased depending on that. So that's definitely non-response bias. The principal then surveys the first 50 students that submit their learning preference for the upcoming school year. So basically, it surveys the first 50 students. What would that be? That would be definitely um, some uh, might have uh, some selection issues. And if you go back here at our different things, um, that could be known as volunteer responsibilities because they actually the first 50 that got there, under coverage of everybody else. You can even say convenience sampling. So many different things could be included in this one. But so this is, one could say this could be volunteer. All right, because of the first 50, definitely under coverage. All right, because you don't know who you're getting. And you can also probably say maybe even convenience sampling. So all these probably you could probably make a case for why this sampling, there's some errors. Okay, and then one more. The following question was a Pennsylvania general election ballot in the 2016 election. Shall the Pennsylvania Constitution be amended to require that justices of the Supreme Court, judges, and magistrate district judges be retired on the last day of the calendar year in which they obtain the age of 75 years? Okay. And so this is for on the ballot elections. The wording seems to ask if there should be a mandatory retirement. However, what was not relieved is the mandatory retirement already exists at age 70. Okay, so they already are at age 70. Due to the wording of the question, is the percentage of people who voted yes likely to be less than, greater than, or about equal percent of all voters who would vote yes if the question were not misleading? Explain your reasoning. Um, I think probably it may be um, probably more yeses, I'm guessing. All right, more yeses. And why is that? Well, you're going to get everybody that thinks that 70 is. And those that don't, they might say, well, 75, they're getting a little too old. So you're probably going to have more people saying yes because 75 is um, even more in that. So if they're saying that we should change it at 75 years, they're really leading people to really say, okay, we're up the value. So people that existed at, because it doesn't say we're going to change the value at 70. It's just saying, should we make it at 75 years? Unknowing the many people that maybe it's 70. So um, more yeses, which is misleading. Uh, which is misleading. Okay, explain your reasoning. So, um, yeah, more yes, which is misleading because all those who agree with the the current law and additional people um, additional people that agree it would that it should be higher, that the age requirement should be higher. And that's what we have there. So that's what I'm guessing what's going to happen. I think it's going to be leading. I think it's going to be more people saying yes, which is going to raise the age limit, even though maybe some people think that it should be lowered. All right. So that is once again some other considerations and some other examples on using random sampling and response biases or different biases in sampling methods. All right, we're going to do one more video coming up, but hopefully this helps you with your current studies. All right, good luck and God bless.